The NFL draft is one day away. We are on the doorstep of the draft. I have dug through tape after tape of nearly 50 prospects in this class, and these, in my opinion, are the 5 best sleepers that I could come up with, plus an honorable mention. I think everybody has a different definition of sleepers. Some people think it should be somebody that's going undrafted. Some people think it can be an earlier round guy. But today in this video, I'm highlighting 5 players that are going outside the top 24 players in Keep Trade Cut rankings right now. So you should be able to get them in the round 3, round 4, potentially undrafted range of your rookie draft. Everyone should have the knowledge to be able to hit on their high rookie picks, but today I'm going to break down some of these later round guys that can help skyrocket a rebuild, your dynasty success as a contender. But before we get into it, a reminder that the Dynasty Wall Street Journal, which is basically our entire dynasty draft guide with all of my grades, 45 pages of goodness, rankings, player cards, comps, targets, fades, all the sleepers from this video came as a result of the work that I put in to push that thing out. And that is available on flockfantasy.com right now. Using the promo code FSE, you can get a 2-day free trial, download the PDF, check out the rest of the site, check out all of our rankings. And if you see enough value there on the site from us and the other Dynasty creators, Flock Fantasy, Fantasy Endgame, and Dynasty Flock, sign up for a monthly package, a yearly package. You get 6 months for free. And using the promo code FSE will get you 30% off plus first priority on Dynasty Decisions episodes. So without wasting any more time, let's get right into it. So before we get into the actual video, 3 quick principles that I want to hammer home on what makes a good sleeper and some of the things that you guys can take to pick your own sleepers. If you guys don't like the ones that I picked, keep these 3 things in mind. So A, I'm doing these pre-NFL drafts, so some of these guys will be affected by draft capital, turning them from maybe sleepers to inside the top 24 if they get great draft capital, or maybe lower picks if they get bad draft capital. I will be doing a post-draft version of this video, hopefully talking about some new names that we got as a result of landing spots in the NFL draft, but I might rehash a name or 2 from this list as well. Number 2, I don't like to diversify in rounds 3 and 4. I load up in the late rounds across most of my leagues everywhere. Guys like Tyler Algier, Greg Dulcich, and Sam Howell were in this video last year, and I have the exposure to those guys upwards of 40, 50, 60% across most of my leagues, because I think in these rounds, just take your guys. You don't need to worry about diversifying. You diversify potentially in the first round of your rookie draft. You do not diversify in rounds 3 and 4, because if you hit, you're going to hit across a lot of leagues and you're going to draft a lot of great players in those leagues, because in the rounds 3 to 4 range, there's not going to be a lot of hits. So if you pick the correct ones, you're going to have them everywhere. And number 3, and finally, this is the most crucial. In this area of the draft, you're looking for who can accumulate value and be flipped maybe for a future second rounder, maybe for a package deal to upgrade to a more stable asset, or kept for production if you're a contender. So keep that in mind when I talk about these players. Just because I think these are sleepers and you could hit on these players doesn't mean that I'm going to hold them their entire careers. I could flip them, before training camp, midway through their rookie season, after their rookie season. And that is how you profit in Dynasty. If you can hit on these 3rd, 4th round players and profit them into a 2nd round pick, or profit them into a package deal with another player to get up to an elite quarterback, or, a better wide receiver or something like that, that is what we are looking to do in Dynasty Fantasy Football League. So going to go in descending order, as I always do in sleeper videos, starting with my number 5 sleeper, Chris Rodriguez, running back from the Kentucky Wildcats. Right now, not even listed on Keep Trade Cut's top 50. So we're talking about a guy that is going undrafted in 4-round rookie drafts right now. He is my 40th overall player. So a guy that I would take in the 4th round. So the first thing I'm going to preface this with is that Chris Rodriguez is probably going to be a day 3 pick. I highly doubt this guy goes on day 2. We're talking a 4th round dart throw in your rookie drafts, maybe even a priority UDFA. He might not get drafted in a lot of your rookie drafts. So let's start with what he does well, because he probably does, some things poorly given that he's going outside the top 50. But what he does well is that he's a physical downhill runner. He has good vision. He lets his blocks develop, and he has good instincts, which is a great framework for a late round running back to have. He also has the peripherals that we look for from a size perspective. He's 6 foot, 217 pounds, and he ran 4.52 at his pro day. So he's got a good athletic profile, good weight adjusted speed score. It's comparable actually to Dalvin Cook's at 103.5, give or take, which is in the 75th percentile. Dalvin Cook ran 4.51 at 210 pounds. He's not overly involved as a receiver, so that's definitely a knock on his profile, but he can contribute a little bit as a check down guy. Had a 5.5% target share in 2021. The exciting part, though, is this. Chris Rodriguez has been extremely efficient according to Pro Football Focus. His PFF rushing grade the past 3 years has been 91.6, 86.6, and 90.7. The last 3 seasons, and in 2022, he avoided a tackle on 37.78% of his attempts, the third highest mark in the 2023 class. So we have a guy who's big, who's got some wiggle, who's elusive. Only Bijan Robinson and Roschon Johnson, the 2 Texas running backs, avoided a tackle per attempt on a higher rate than Chris Rodriguez last year. 74.3% of his yards came after contact as well, which ranks second only to Tank Bigsby in this class. So you put him all together, he starts to check some boxes. He's a solid athlete. He's big. He's got good rushing instincts, like I mentioned. He can create on his own using both elusiveness and power. He doesn't have elite burst. He's not going to, pop off the screen when you watch him. He runs a little high at times, and he's also nearly 24 years old without more than a 5.5% target share on his profile. So those are the main blemishes. Those are the main cons. Of course, we're talking about a 4th round pick here. He's not going to be perfect. If he lands in a spot with an early down workload, maybe he goes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in round 5 to replace Leonard Fournette. Maybe he goes to the Minnesota Vikings to replace Dalvin Cook. Maybe he goes to the Dallas Cowboys on day 3 to replace Zeke's early down workload. Maybe he goes to the Arizona Cardinals as James Conner's heir apparent. Somewhere where he can be a handcuff day 1 or compete for an early down workload. This is a guy that I will take a bunch of shots on in the late round 4 area, maybe as a UDFA. I think he's comparable to a better, more athletic version of another Kentucky running back in Benny Snell. We're talking about a guy who can be at least a good handcuff, if not get some spot starts, be a waiver ad during his rookie season from a redraft perspective. And at that point in time, if he's a waiver ad, you can probably ship him off for a 3rd round rookie pick or maybe a future 2nd round rookie pick if you're lucky. So Chris Rodriguez, a guy that I'm going to be taking a lot of shots on either as a priority free agent or as a 4th round draft pick. So number 4 sleeper on this list is Cedric Tillman, wide receiver of Tennessee, ranked at 31 overall in Superflex drafts on Keep Trade Cut right now, or the 305 in drafts. Right now, I have him ranked as my 212 or my 24th overall player. And this one, to me, is a little bit shocking because this guy's actually getting good draft capital. He's going high in the NFL draft. I would bet money that this guy's a 2nd round pick. NFL mock draft database has him as an early 3rd rounder, but I've heard guys like Mel Kiper and Todd McShay on ESPN say that he has a great chance of being a top 50 NFL draft pick. I've seen him go as high as 39th overall to the Carolina Panthers in mock drafts. And Cedric Tillman has one thing that a lot of people in this class don't have at the wide receiver position, which is size. He's 6'3.5", 213 pounds. He's got good athleticism. He ran mid 4.5s, 4.54 at the NFL scouting combine. He's not a perfect wide receiver prospect by any means. As a redshirt senior coming out, he's 23 years old already. He turned 23 last week. And he really only had 1 season of high-level production as a junior in 2021, where he went 86 for 64, 1,081 yards, and 12 touchdowns. But he did this in the SEC. He was impressive enough to explain away the 2022 down season when he dealt with a litany of injuries. A 28% target share in the SEC is very, very impressive. He's expected to be drafted in the top 50, like I said. He has an 8.66 RAS score, which is in the 86th percentile. He's 6'3.5". He's 213 pounds. In 2021, his yards per team pass attempt was 2.88, which from a best season perspective in this draft class was 5th in the class behind Jordan Addison. So he checks quite a bit of boxes. On film, when I watched him, he has a little bit, and don't get too crazy here, of Michael Thomas in his game. When he runs routes, he can work over the middle of the field. He's a physical separator at the catch point. He can create throwing windows for his quarterback. He's not going to lose contested catches. His hands are some of the best in the class. And to quote Matt Harmon's reception perception, even though he's far from the best separator in this class, obviously Addison, JSN, Zay Flowers, these smaller wide receivers are going to separate better than him. He's by no means a poor separator. I think the range of outcomes for Tillman start at like a Corey Davis type of receiver. Then maybe he can develop into a Cortland Sutton type of receiver. And at the absolute nuts range of outcomes, I do think there's some untapped potential for maybe a T. Higgins or Michael Thomas type of receiver to come out of Cedric Tillman. 44th percentile against mans, 47th against zone, 36th against press. Those are pretty solid numbers for a guy who has big size, good enough athlete. Even if he goes high in the NFL draft, there's a good chance that he'll be there at the 2-3 turn type of area of your rookie draft. He misses some boxes, but his tape was solid, like I said, especially in 2021. He toasted Georgia. He toasted Alabama, combined for 17 catches, 352 yards, and 2 touchdowns over those 2 games. And obviously, Georgia had the best defense in the country that year. Alabama was a top 5 team, top 4 team in the country as well. So grab Cedric Tillman in round 3 and thank me later, because if he's available at that point in time, you're getting like a second round receiver who actually had some good SEC production and flashed on film some Michael Thomas like upside. So he is a guy that I'm going to be grabbing a lot of in rookie drafts. Number 3 sleeper on this list is Zack Kuntz, tight end from Old Dominion. I like to throw a tight end on here every single year. It's worked out pretty well. I threw a Hunter Long 2 years ago, which didn't really work out. But last year I threw out Greg Dulcich, which obviously was a hit because he's rised in value so far. So 47th overall on Keep Trade Cut. Right now, we're talking about a guy that is going at the 411 in rookie drafts. He is my 30th overall player at 306, and he is actually my tight end 3. So I'm not going to bury the lead. You guys probably know why I have Zack Kuntz so high. The answer is because he is the most athletic tight end. Let me repeat, the most athletic tight end in NFL history. In the history of the Combine, since 1987 when RAS scores were first tracked, nobody tested better than Old Dominion's Zack Kuntz. A freakish 6'7.5", 255-pound frame, 23 bench press reps, 4.55 40, which is an absolutely ludicrous number, 1.55 10-yard split, which is 0.03 seconds slower than Devon A-Chain posted, who ran in the 4.3s and is a track athlete, jumped 40 inches in the vertical, 10.8 in the broad, short shuttled 4.12, which was faster than Zay Flowers at wide receiver, and 3 cone of 6.87. We are talking about a freakish athletic specimen here in Zack Kuntz, but he isn't just an athlete, and that is something that I'm really excited about Zack Kuntz. He played move tight end in college, working 62% of his snaps either on the outside or in the slot, in addition to playing inline as a big-time inline blocker given his size. He plays every bit to the athletic testing that we saw from him in college. He moves like a guy who runs in the 4.5s. He's got fluid hips when he runs routes. He's powerful and quick after the catch. He uses his frame at the catch point to shield defenders. And he also produced, which is something that we don't usually see from these athletic freak tight ends, is them actually produce high-level production. I understand it came at Old Dominion, right? He had to transfer away from Penn State in 2019, 2020 type of area because he was stuck behind Pat Freiermuth, who was a second-round pick to the Pittsburgh Steelers. But we're talking about a guy that once he transferred to Old Dominion, commanded a 26.6% target share. And I know it's Old Dominion, but that's still an extremely high number for a tight end. 2.16 yards per route run. Again, those numbers rival good wide receiver prospects. And both were top 5 marks in this tight end class, which is a very, very good one behind guys like Michael Mayer, Dalton Kincaid, Sam Laporta, and Tucker Kraft. So he's right up there with those guys from a production standpoint, not just an athletic standpoint, from a production standpoint. When we look at players who check boxes, we have elite size, 6'8", pretty much, 255. Elite athleticism, best athlete in the history of the Combine. Produced at Old Dominion. He has great film. Like I said, he has flashes on film where he looks like he knows how to run routes. And I know this is blasphemous, like Jimmy Graham did in his prime. He's not perfect. He was a 5-year player, but he did get better every single year, especially once he transferred away from Penn State. His blocking technically needs a little bit of work. And at the catch point, I think he needs more refinement as well, because he struggled with, mistiming some of his jumps, some body control issues. And that's what led to his contested catch rate being a little bit lower than it probably should have been, given his size. So for me, I think his ceiling is a guy like Jimmy Graham. And I know that's really, really high praise for a guy that could absolutely bust at the next level, or just be, a Jelani Woods type in the median range of outcomes. But this dude is freakish, and a good coach can get the best out of him. And we're talking about a guy that you can get with the last pick in the rookie draft, a guy that is available mid-4th round of your rookie drafts, who could legitimately be a top 12 tight end after his rookie season if he flashes some of that athletic upside. We know how dynasty players will react, right? If we see a long 70-yard touchdown at the end of his rookie season, people are going to overreact and project him forward. If he averages good targets per route run or whatever, we've seen what it's done for a guy like Chega Okonkwo. I definitely think that Zack Kuntz could have that type of ascension after his rookie season. We do have question marks about his draft capital right now. Dane Brugler had him going in round 4 in his 7-round mock draft. Hopefully we can get this guy day 2 draft capital, either in the 2nd or in the 3rd round, which I think is possible given how he tested, to a great team, potentially like the Cincinnati Bengals, Dallas Cowboys, or Los Angeles Chargers. If he can go to a situation like that, I'm going to be all over this guy in rookie drafts. I have him ranked in the 3rd round. I'm comfortable taking him in the 3rd round, but you don't have to. He's available in the 4th round of most rookie drafts, and I'm excited about Zack Kuntz to go to the NFL and potentially develop into probably the ceiling is one of the best tight ends in the NFL. So number 2, we have Jayden Reed. He is my number 2 sleeper wide receiver from Michigan State. Right now, again, ranked at the end of the 4th round, the 412, 48th overall player on Keep Trade Cut right now. He is my 210. my 22nd overall player. I have him ranked in the second round. He's going basically undrafted in most rookie drafts. Big time discrepancy between me and the market here. And here's why. Because my comp for Jayden Reed was Jahan Dotson on film. I think he's a great separator. According to Matt Harmon's reception perception, he won on like 6 of the 10 routes that he ran at an above average rate. 58th percentile separator against man, 53rd against zone, 87th percentile against press. He's very good at the line of scrimmage, knows how to win off the line with good feet, with good hand technique. He has strong hands in contested situations as well. A lot of one-handed grabs, spectacular catches on film. He avoided a tackle on 23% of his catches in 2021, so we know he's got some wiggle after the catch as well. 5'11", 191 pounds, ran 4.45 at the combine. Perfect for the slot receiver role that he's going to have in the NFL. And that's definitely a knock on him. He's going to be a slot receiver, but he's tough. He's smart. He blocks his ass off as a smaller wide receiver. The only real downside with Jayden Reed is that he's 23 years old. His profile is not good. Analytics bros are not going to like this guy because he should have came out last year. He was a junior last year, and he posted a pretty good season, 25% target share, over 1,000 yards at Michigan State. And this season, he comes back to school, deals with injuries, has a down season, and regresses. I think he's expected to go in the third round of the NFL draft sometime. I expect his ADP to climb once that happens from the 412 to probably a mid to late third round rookie pick. And I will have him ranked at the tail end of round 2, like I have him ranked right now, if he gets day 2 draft capital. In a good landing spot, I think this guy can ascend in value by being a reliable, chain-moving, potentially number 2 receiver for an NFL team. And if he goes to a team like Buffalo, who has an open slot receiver position, a team like Dallas, who has an open slot receiver position, Indianapolis, Tennessee, Atlanta, somebody like that, where he can get on the field early and play, 80% of the snaps as a rookie, this guy is ready to play right now. And because he's a little bit more experienced, I think he's very pro-ready as a result. So if he gets third-round draft capital, this is going to be a guy that I have ranked in the early portion of round 3. And right now he is being drafted outside of the top, 45 picks in rookie drafts right now. So I really like Jayden Reed, wide receiver from Michigan State, a guy that I'm going to own a lot of in rookie drafts. Now, let's get to the number 1 sleeper. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that both of my number 1 sleepers the last 2 years have hit. Elijah Mitchell was my number 1 sleeper in 2021. Tyler Algier was my number 1 sleeper last year. My number 1 sleeper heading into the NFL draft is yet again another running back, Chase Brown, running back from the Illinois Fighting Illini, 310 on Keep Trade Cut right now, 34th overall player. He is my 17th overall player right now in my rankings, my 205. Chase Brown is cut from the same cloth as those other guys. And the reason I really like Chase Brown is for the same reasons I like those guys, because they check boxes. 5'9", 209 pounds at the combine, 215 pounds actually at the Senior Bowl in January. So he has the size. He is a great athlete, 98th percentile relative athletic score, jumping 40 inches in the vertical, 10.7 in the broad, running 4.43 in the 40-yard dash with a faster 10-yard split at 1.50 than Devon Achane and Jahmyr Gibbs. So we're talking about a guy with legitimate burst, 1 to 10 yards, he's golden. The film is great as well. In the Dynasty Wall Street Journal, I broke him down as my RB6 because he uses that burst. He uses that explosiveness in unison with great vision, decisive, one-cut-and-go type of runner, and he can catch the ball as well. 8.3% target share in the 66th percentile, which is about average in this class. 62.1 PFF receiving grade, also about average in this class. So he's not an exceptional receiver, but he can definitely get it done on third downs, and he ranked second in this class with a 65.1 PFF pass blocking grade, spent 105 snaps in pass protection, which led the 2023 class. So he has a lot of experience in that area. When it comes to his cons as a player, he doesn't really have many cons. And that's kind of a con in and of itself, because outside of like great burst and great vision, he's not exceptional in any one area. He can make you miss when he needs to, but he only forced a missed tackle on 25% of his touches, which ranked below average in this class. He can break tackles when he needs to, but he only did it on 10.33% of his attempts, which also ranked below average in this class. So Algier and Mitchell were also jack of all trades, master of none type of running backs who could do everything. Plus, they had good size, plus athleticism, and good skill sets on third down, but none of them really excelled in any one area, and that's exactly what I see with a guy like Chase Brown from Illinois. I am betting on Chase Brown to be the same type of bet, and in fact, my direct comparison for him is Elijah Mitchell, because from a size and athleticism, a skill set standpoint, I see a lot of similarities in their game. Chase Brown is exactly the type of player, in my opinion, that will go, fourth round in the NFL draft as he's expected to be drafted right now, and could be an RB2 his rookie season, because if he lands in a spot with touches available, he can be productive right away because he has a complete skill set, and coaches will love his physicality, his toughness, his vision, his pass protection ability, the fact that he can work on third down. He does everything that coaches will like, and he could be available in early round 4 of your rookie draft or maybe mid round 3 of your rookie draft. And I can guarantee you he will be on every single one of my teams if that happens. And you can do exactly what we have preached with Elijah Mitchell after his rookie year. Flip him for a future first rounder because you could actually get that after his rookie year. Flip Tyler Algier plus a piece for a future first rounder. Flip him for an early second rounder. These type of guys can be productive rookies and probably not have the longest shelf lives, and that's okay. We can profit off of hitting on those guys as sleepers either by using that production if we're a contender or by taking advantage of that production window and selling them to a contender for a second-round pick, 2 second-round picks, maybe even a first-round pick. So Chase Brown, my number 1 sleeper. Honorable mentions, like I said, to the quarterback position. I never break down quarterbacks as sleepers because without draft capital and landing spot, it's honestly pointless. But the guy that I think could be this year's, Brock Purdy is Jake Haener from Fresno State. He has, a complete skill set just like Brock Purdy did, ranked very highly on the S2 cognition scores as well, just like Brock Purdy did. He's not the biggest guy. He's not the strongest guy. He's not the fastest guy, but he's accurate. He's got good production, a little bit older of a prospect, but definitely a guy that has a complete skill set. And that's exactly what I would have said about Brock Purdy coming out of Iowa State last year. I don't think he's going to go to the San Francisco 49ers and become the starter like Brock Purdy did, but he could go to a team, fill in, have some spot starts here and there, and be a productive, 4th round rookie pick. Same with Dorian Thompson-Robinson of UCLA. He can run. He's big. He's athletic. He could be an upside swing in the 4th rounder undrafted in rookie drafts as well, depending on where he goes in the actual NFL draft. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. Like I said, the Dynasty Wall Street Journal is live on flockfantasy.com right now. You can get access to all of my rankings, all of my player cards, all of my grades. You want to know why I ranked this guy over that guy? You'll see exactly why in the Dynasty Wall Street Journal, including all the sleepers. I went through 20 running backs, 20 wide receivers, 10, 15 tight ends, 10, 15 quarterbacks, and broke them down exactly what I saw from them on film. 45 pages of goodness over there. And use the promo code FSE when you sign up on Flock Fantasy for a 2-day free trial to see everything on there, see what we're pushing out, me and the other creators over there, and 30% off using the promo code FSE is what you'll get for using that promo code. Also, first priority on Dynasty decisions for using our promo code versus other people's promo code. So definitely check that out if you're interested. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed this video. That being said, peace out, and we'll talk to you soon.